Shalom, my Barak. Peace and blessings. It's time for a party. Today's party is called Random Movements. We get together 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to discuss entrepreneurship and service in your community. We have 10 special interest groups that we speak on, 5 per week, each have their own day. We take off on Shabbat, or what is known as Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have question and answer. Today's special interest group is Nom de Whom. Whenever we talk about the special interest groups, what we're looking for is their perspective, each individual perspective on organic marketing strategies. Today's focus is going to be on innovation. It's been a while since we've done a multiple channel streamcast. I mean, it's two channels, both YouTube and TikTok. Been off for a while because my device decided it wanted to do a factory reset, shut down all of my apps. I had to reload them and get all of my emails and everything realigned, and wound up having to wait before I could approve my main email account. So we are now broadcasting once again. We are rocking and rolling because we were rocking and rolling before the electric guitar. We were rocking and rolling before the boat that no one wants to talk about. We were rocking and rolling because we were already on boats, traveling, visiting, and casting nets. So here we go. I've had a great day so far, and I pray that you all have been having a great day as well. Spent some time working on some content. We got 3 in YouTube land. Shalom Barak to you. Peace and blessings. Yeah, I spent earlier today working on some content, and then I went and attended a couple of live sessions with the assembly that I'm a part of. Talked a little bit about exercise and a few other things. Chancey comments. You're a guy. What's up, Chancey? Shalom Barak to you. Peace to you. Oh, we got 14 in the YouTube land. MG. Shalom Barak to you. Uh, Thank you for the attempt to be familiar with me. However, I don't know if my fiance would take kindly to that. I'm spoken for. Anytime you can go and look in my actual videos, there's a playlist called Have Some Cake. There's an album I did called Have Some Cake. And that album is actually dedicated to my fiance. You can call me TJ, you can call me Malik, you can call me a lot of things. However, I won't necessarily answer to baby. There's only one who has that right. So yeah, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. And the reason why I bring up the special interest group Nom de Whom is because I'm part of a curator group. This is not like looking up Amazon and trying to find somebody who will be a curator for your music list. I go deeper than that. This is for content creators all the way across the board. Digital media, pictures, videos, audio, the whole nine. And that goes in with promotion as well, because we're dealing with organic marketing strategies. That means that no, this is not pay for play. No, this is not for what's trending. This is not for what's popular. This is not for something that might jump up now and is gone tomorrow. This is evergreen. That means if someone wants to look up a subject that you're talking about, it doesn't matter if it's now or if it's 2 years from now, it's still going to be relevant. That means also that whatever you actually put out as content, you're willing to stand on it. So if someone does come to you and say, well, I don't believe everything that you said is true, you can actually give them citations and references. It's not just people posting up whatever they want to and then paying for fans. In Nom de Whom, you have two musicians who both have 25 years plus of experience within the whole trade, the whole scene of music, be it in a band, be it producing, or even to the point of registry, whether it's touring or setting up a stage or doing sound design and all that sort of thing. That's Nom de Whom. That means that if you are on any platform, if you would like for us to promote you, it's not about paying Facebook or YouTube or TikTok $10, $100, or $1,000 for you to get some views. It's about putting you in front of the right faces who actually care and who will support you. Build an audience. Out of your audience comes fans. Not everybody's supposed to come in and pay you $2 just because they see your face. You have to have an audience. You have to have some sort of reputation, and you have to have some sort of product that is worthy. So the guidelines for dealing with Nom de Whom and our curator system basically means, is it something that would be beneficial to the community? Is it something that your grandmother, your grandfather, your parents, yourself, your siblings, your nephews, your nieces, your children, can anyone in the community actually benefit from it in a positive form and fashion? Also, is it your own natural born talent? And are you willing to use that as your way of a means of livelihood? Because, see, then we're talking. Otherwise, it's just somebody decided they wanted to go and buy some sounds and then write something over 'em, record it all, turn it in, and think they're going to grab a bag. That's hollow. That's shallow. We run deep. This is not about a one hit wonder. We're building legacies. Before I go any deeper with that, though, I would like to say this. In the assembly meeting earlier, I did say I was moving my furniture around in the room because I was going to set up and do some working out. I decided not to do that. My head is hot. It is a beautiful day outside, and I don't want to get overheated working out. I'd wind up just drinking a bunch of water and stretching while trying to speak with you all. And there's a little bit on my mind, but I'm not really trying to throw all that extra stuff in. Not right now. A couple of days ago, while doing a live, I let you all know that, well, didn't get a chance to let you all know because I actually didn't get a chance to do the live this way. I did a live, it was on Facebook. You can find that recording in the entrepreneurship. Yeah, the entrepreneurship playlist. That's where you'll find these live recordings. And since I've missed a few days and I was still broadcasting to Facebook, I'm going back and I'm placing those in the slots over the days that I've missed. Wonderful thing about social media, it appears that they have upgraded their services towards the content creators because now if I record something, they save it and they hold it for at least 30 days. Kudos to the social media platforms because for a long time I was saying, you need to record from your own device. Even if you're recording like what I'm doing right now, I'm recording to YouTube. I'm recording to TikTok through this device. However, I really should have a second device that's recording everything I'm doing. That way, no matter what happens with YouTube or TikTok, I would still have my own personal recording. And I won't lie, I've been breaking the rules. I was using two devices. I had this phone and then I had a tablet. The tablet shut down on me. I actually do have a digital video camera that I have not powered up in a minute. That's what I'm supposed to be using as my alternative device. But meanwhile, I've been saved because, yes, the actual video recordings have been stored. Zachary Noonan. Shalom Barat to you. Congrats, you found a light up controller. 20% chance. 20% chance of rain. Zachary Noonan. Are you related to Johnny number 5? You see, that's why today's party is called Random Activities. The whole time that I'm telling you all this story, it does wind up to something. And here we go. So after my device decided it wanted to shut down and I lost everything that was on it, the same thing had happened to the tablet. Now it's a good thing that the activities that I do have placed my products on the platforms where they needed to be. It's great that I actually have been uploading to cloud services and things like that. Because otherwise, everything would have been wiped and I wouldn't have been able to actually go back and still redistribute things that I've placed and posted, let alone be able to work on my other projects. That was my issue with being able to sign back in with my email. It wasn't just about, oh, I don't have my pictures anymore. There are so many apps that I use. What most people attempt to do with a desktop computer is what I can do with a phone. That's why I'm asking Zachary Noonan if that particular profile is related to Johnny number 5, because that's a very random thing to post in the comment section. Congrats, you found a light up controller. 20% chance. 20% chance of what? I wasn't looking for a controller. So you're telling me that you've come in unwarranted and off topic. Very random. They say that the nation and the globe is being taken over by attention deficit. Attention deficit disorder. And at the same time, there's a push in social media. Make your content as short as possible because no one has an attention span long enough to pay attention to you. 3 or 4 days ago, I was at a party where the host pretty much was paying attention to everything that was going on within the party and also the conversation he was having with me, to the point where we were reminding each other of what the last subject was if we happened to be cut off in the middle of conversation. His attention is great. Even people that I've heard of that have attention deficit, if you give them certain things, they're going to have all the focus in the world. So I say attention deficit is more of a choice. Choose what you want to pay attention to. That's why people get accused of daydreaming. Oh, you were supposed to do so and so task, but you were staring off into la la land. Yes, my attention changed from toil to what I was interested in. Hold on just a moment. We're having a We're having a situation where the screen decided it wanted to jump around. One moment. Again, we are at 11% on the battery. Shalom to you all who are in TikTok land. I apologize. I'm not going to be clicking over to check what's going on because, as you just heard, the signal wants to do what it wants to do. And I don't want to interrupt anything. I will check in with you all after the fact, especially for all the regulars who stop in for the party. So we're talking innovation. Innovation goes beyond trying to flood people's senses with trinkets and distractions. Creeping through the house because my bro made it back home from work. Not going to disturb him. I think we might step on the back porch in a moment. I mean, on the front porch. We were on the back deck. Came in here to get the battery recharger. All right. So as I was saying, Nom de Whom is actually a group that represents protection, protecting the interdependent artist, protecting those who do not want to sign with major labels, protecting entrepreneurs who want to walk out into this world and become a name instead of just falling under the whims of establishments. So now you say, well, how do you do that? Hashtag it's a start. SEO optimization. Do you know the power of actually regularly posting? Shalom Barak, Akati. Today's party is going to be one of those no music parties, focusing on Nom de Whom and content creator curations, promoting playlists and websites and that sort of thing. We've had a mystery visitor that came in right before you, and they actually called out after I did the name of the title of the party. They came in and did exactly what I was talking about. Random activities. So we're going to make them the point of discussion today. They wanted to tell me that I have found a light up controller, 20% chance. Now, does that mean 20% chance of rain? 20% chance that I actually found a highlight or a light up controller? 20% chance that I will receive this lighted controller? 20% chance that I would even pay attention and respond? because we're talking about innovations. And every time I open up social media, it seems that the innovation is to feed attention deficit disorder by throwing trinkets at people. Here, take this new flashy thing, and it's going to improve your life. How? Well, it's going to improve your life. It'll make it better because you don't have one of these. And it's only $19.99 plus tax and shipping and handling. I'm on water. I had a couple of cups of coffee already. And you know me, a couple of cups means 4 cups of coffee because this is a cup. So yeah, we're talking about innovation. We're talking about the way we're supposed to be conducting ourselves. I've heard someone say that the market is saturated with this or that and the other. There's no reason for you to go into business selling that. The market's already saturated with that. That might be so. The market is saturated with toys. You can line up a lot of toys. People are going to look for certain things. Does it say Hasbro? Does it say Play School? Does it say Tonka? Person that likes timepieces. Does it say Timex? Does it say Rolex? So those aren't random occurrences. That wasn't someone trying to grab a bag in a season. Got to get our minds out of that. We don't need to be doing random acts. It has to be methodical, planned out. What you will be doing during a season to completely harvest a crop. Not what can I do for a season to hustle up some money so that I can go and grab a bag. Who do you think makes more money? Who do you think wastes more money? Between an agricultural farmer and a person who sells you trinkets on the sidewalk. Which one do you think makes more money and which one wastes more money? A farmer has to invest in equipment, time. Farmer has to wait almost all year to see a profit. Spend a lot of money. Equipment, gas, maintenance, labor, materials. You might hear somebody say, well, I hustled up and I made 5,000 in a month, or I made 10,000 in 3 months. I made 60,000 in a year, non-salary. Make nearly 15. Was it about 1,500? Not 1,500 a month, but you get the idea. So it would be, I don't want to use my brain for math right now. The point is, yes, a person could go and accumulate money quickly. Now, when they accumulated that money, what did they have for expenditures? What was their planning like? Were they up all night because they were trying to figure out how everything was going to be flipped over within a week? Or were they up all night trying to figure out what they were going to do right before sunrise and the fact that they were going to be out till after sundown? Got a little bug on my arm. Y'all ever seen that little guy before? Thought he was a light bug, but as you can see, it's broad daylight. They don't like to get out like that. Plus, it wouldn't be red and black. Yeah, I don't know what he is, but he decided to hang out with me. Innovations. So, what exactly is a curator? You ever been to a museum? When you go to a museum, you may see 4 different galleries with different collections. There may be 4 collections, one in each gallery. Then you'll have a person who may give you a tour and explain to you the art that you find in the galleries. Paintings and statues, and the statues and the paintings, the story behind the artist who created the works. This person who gives you the tour might have this information just because that's what they're paid to do, is to know that much and walk people through it. Because a lot of this information is going to be written on the side of the works anyway. And then there's always some kind of a biography. And you can find that along with the rest of the information as you go through and view the gallery. Then you also have the people who are responsible for running the complete museum itself, whether they are on management staff or whatever the case may be. They might be the people behind the scenes who uh, request for artists to bring their works, or an artist might contact them to request having their work put on display. That would be the curator, because these people are going to actually know within the artist circle which products are worthy of putting in the public eye. A museum curator. So people nowadays, when they decide that they want to be some sort of musician or a producer, they register some tracks, and then they subscribe to, there are several different distribution and publication companies that are out right now that are charging people. So they go and a musician goes and finds one of those groups, a producer goes and finds one of those distribution companies, registers their work, and then waits for a return. Since they registered their work, somebody's going to get them placed wherever they need to be, and from there, they will get paid because of the streams and people just buying their material. And then the musician looks up and says, "Well, hey, my stuff isn't moving fast enough. I thought it would be more popular. So let me find popular lists and see if I can get put on one of those lists." And then so you contact one of these playlist curators, and they say, "Yeah, you pass me $50, and I'll have your name. I'll have your song. You share your link with me, and I will put that on the list for the next 30 days." So that everyone can see your song right next to top Billboard 100 or the top people of that particular category and niche, genre, subject. I'm here to tell you, I do not want any of my music to be put in a list where it's 5 people, 10, 20 people who have the same sort of song or the same sort of sound. I come from a time when we had albums where your album could be 8 songs, 10 songs, 12 songs, maybe even 20 songs, and you get the whole album. If you're just picky and you only wanted one thing out of the album, you might go and buy a single. You know, you might buy the 7-inch record vinyl instead of the full LP, or you might buy the single from the cassette tapes, or you might buy the single from the CD. It was going to be a rare occasion that you would buy an album where there were 5 or 10 people that had the same type of song. You might get the top 10 songs of such and such year, or such and such season of the year, or the top 10 or top 20 of a specific band. People were not paying to be placed with similar songs. Here, take my one song and place it with somebody else. So when that offer gets placed out there, that's a random offer to me. That's a random activity. It's going to be hard for me to get pulled to a playlist where everybody has the same song. You listen to an album, it's supposed to take you through a story. It's like playing a movie through your head. The artist is telling you a story from each song, and you can put it together. That's one of the critiques. If you pick up an album and it's got all music that sounds the same, unless they purposefully were trying to give you 30 minutes of the same riff, then that's a no-go. Think back to the 60s and 70s. There was a song, it's called Same Beat, because they purposefully wanted you to understand there are some drum patterns that are going to be the same. And then James Brown was trying to show people what it's like to be on the one. Now, it wasn't just James Brown. There's Mazio and a few other people from his band. And then there's people from Parliament who were talking about funk, and a whole lot of other groups that were talking about jazz. And that's on the and one instead of the one. And one, two, three. You already going on and. We ain't made it to 1, 2, 3, 4. And one. That could be jazzy or blues as well. Then it's all just about whichever key signature you're using. If you want to be sharp or flat, or if you want to speed it up, slow it down. Slow music doesn't mean it's blues. It's slow jazz. See, I come from that is music. And then if you want to put some voices in there, if you want to put someone rhyming and all that kind of thing, and fast and choppy staccato cadences, or if they want to rhyme harmoniously and melodically, or whatever the case may be, that's music. And it deserves to be in a place where it's one huge picture instead of just one focus. Music is an art. So if someone says that they are a curator, it means that they are able to show you a collection of different facets of the jewel called art. Random activity will not get you a quality collection. Random activity will not give you a quality portfolio. Because if I'm the curator, you are the artist. And when you come to me, I will be asking you, where's your portfolio? Well, I don't have one. You have any pictures? Yeah, I got some pictures. Yeah. Got some videos of you talking about anything? Yeah. Then you have a portfolio. Now it's up to you to put it together and tell your story. And I'd be more than willing to help you because that's what I do. A few years ago, there was a strike by the members of the Actors Guild. Now, as far as artists and musicians are concerned, there's not really a union, a trade union for artists and musicians on that level. Graphic artists, musicians, or people who record their voice. There's no way to go on strike. And the thing is, they were going on strike against Hollywood. The people who were on strike were the same people who are employed by the blockbuster uh, movie production companies, not film, movies. Movies are meant as scripts for entertainment and distraction. They're not films. A film is a documentary. A film will give you information and cause you to think. A movie wants you to cast away your disbelief. Suspend your disbelief and let this be reality for a minute. That's what a movie is. A movie can introduce a psychosis to you and never give you a remedy. A film will explain to you what psychosis is, show you examples, and then show you clinical tests that are being done to prevent or revert from psychosis. So if you are accumulating material content that is actually evergreen, meaning that it is always pertinent, it is always relevant, it's always informative, it actually is backed up with references. If you are producing that kind of content, then you have a portfolio that needs to be under curation. And that's one of those things where either you go and find a curator or you learn the skills to do so yourself. I'm feeling really encouraged right now because there were a few things that it's not that my ego was wanting it, it was things that were needed. There were things that I had been praying about for over 40 years, and it feels great those things come to life. One of those answered prayers is being able to open up my device and know that I can go somewhere and see 4 books dedicated to kindergarten through 12th grade homeschooling, designed with methods in mind for teaching the standards of Yahweh Elohim. Grace relief. That is worthy of being promoted. That is worthy of going beyond a museum. That is worthy of people around the world knowing how to get access to it. Now you tell me how that compares to someone wanting to tell me about the colors of their different body parts. Selah. Innovation is knowing your vision, your purpose, and your value. And once you know it, using it for the betterment of the kingdom, of your betterment of your community, your family, yourself. Innovation. When they tell you that there's a certain way that you can do something, process it. Sure that there is other options, that there are other options. Question it. Yeah, you say you have this way and you say it's very convenient. I'm willing to go a couple of extra miles out of my convenience in order to make sure that I cover all bases. There's a reason why I'm telling you this. Most of the distribution and publishing companies out here who are asking you for a subscription are limiting you on all of the places. Sure, $10 a month. We're going to put you on 10 sites. How many of those pay for play places will tell you that they can put you in 250 places? How many of those pay for play places actually send the document showing you on record that you've actually been placed, and not only placed, there's records of people interacting with your product. Most of those people don't have that as an assurance, so they're paying curators and paying the platforms that they join to try and get more audience members to come and see what they have to offer. You ever been fishing before? You ever been fishing with a hook and a floater? So you put bait on the hook, worm, cricket, dog food, whatever. Put that on the hook. Let the hook hang suspended from a bobber. The bobber is what keeps everything afloat. So you can suspend the hook about 2 feet down. Shalom Barak Kachalet. Shalom Barak. It's an honor to see you. It's very tabah for you to be here today. It's always tabah, and I am very thankful. So as I was and suspending whatever bait that you have at the, you don't put up a sign saying, hey, there's some bait for you to bite. You don't make a lot of noise on the bank because that bobber is connected to a string, which is connected to a hook. Say, while out there on the bank, gets transferred through the pole along the string, across the bobber, beneath the surface of the water to the hook. And whatever it is you're saying, the fish can. The fish hears a random activity. So that's the focus of this party. Random activities. The fish hears something random. So now you got to be quiet and allow for everything to get back to normal. And then the fish gets lured to bait. That's when the fish comes to strike. You might pull one fish out of the water. There could have been 10 looking at that bait. And really, it's the curious one that's going to go and bite it, not the smart one. The smart one up and nibble it and then leave. Just test it. That's why you have a bobber. That's why you have a cork. You're going to actually watch it bounce around while the fish is testing you. And you're not going to set your hook until one bites and runs off with it. Now you set your hook because it's running away. So you set your hook to bring it back towards you. That's how I was taught how to fish. Khaled, I know you cast nets. That's why I'm glad you're here. Because we're rocking and rolling. We've been rocking and rolling since before the electric guitar. We were rocking and rolling before that boat that nobody wants to talk about. We were rocking and rolling on our own boats. We were traveling, visiting, and casting nets. Today we are celebrating because it's been almost a week since I was able to do a multi-channel stream. No matter what happens with technology, there are so many different platforms that I've set up on that if I can at least get access to some electricity and Wi-Fi, I pretty much have a way to broadcast. Just those two things are needed. Might not be the same that people are used to. I'll get the message out there because that's what I signed up for. And that's the truth. That is Khan. That is not my words. That's not my ego. That's a reaffirmation. We are being incited. We are being pushed to indulge in random activities. However, we're supposed to have a purpose. And I have dropped that one already earlier too. Vision, purpose, value. We're supposed to have a purpose. The vision is what we write down on the tablet and put it on the table because that's the plan. Is to use our vessels to enact that vision. And then you get your value because you serve the community and the community will recompense. That's a giant circle. Now, let's go right back to the visitor that we had earlier who was trying to tell me that I have found a light up controller. That is so random because I don't need a controller. I don't need a television controller, even though you all hear me looking for that television controller all the time. I don't need one. If it lit up, that wouldn't help unless it's got one of those little toggle things. So a light up controller doesn't help me at all. That's random. Why would you send that to me? I don't need it. I haven't told you I have a hot point for needing a light up controller. So even your plans that you would write down in your tablet and put on the table shouldn't be random. You don't want to send people out on random missions. You want them to have a purpose because then they will focus on it. They will actually feel self-worth, value. No matter what your pursuits are in life. Are you grounded? Do you have a foundation enough to no matter what mood, no matter what emotions you're feeling, you can still deliver? Believe me, there's times when I'm feeling real cantankerous. There's times when I'm really tired. There's times where my mind is 1,000 miles away, but I still have to come right back here because I signed up for it, because I requested it. It was the one time that I asked for employment and I didn't have to wait for a call back. I didn't even have to wait for a thank you, shake your hand. It was immediately get to work. You don't have to go home and change your clothes and come. Immediately get to work. I only had one time when it was like that. Yeah, I've had people tell me immediately get to work, and I did, but no, it was not the same. It was get to your job. When I applied for a job, they saw that I had the right credentials, and they asked me what could I do right then. I said I could start right now, so I did. So there's a lot of questions involved. With this one, it was I have these strengths and these abilities. Can you direct me in the way that I need to go and do these things? And then the answers would come. In my mind, get this answer telling me, go over here and do this. Look up this information over there. And as I kept going with it, as I'm writing all this information out in my notebooks, as I'm thinking about it and pondering it and meditating and sleeping and waking up and talking to other people about it, it started clicking. Even the things that I don't have the ability to do, since I kept talking with people, I eventually found the people who could. Well, if I can't do this, I know someone who can. And they need my help to do so and so. We will become partners because we also have common interests outside of our services. So we should partner up. See, that's not a random thing. That's purposeful. That's what we're looking for is actual purposeful activities because that will grow. People will say that a tree is random because seed fell down and the tree grew wherever the tree grew. We're on a great big planet. The random part is whether or not the tree survives. The tree emits a seed. The seed falls to the ground. When it gets to the ground, it can be covered in dirt. Once it's covered in dirt and it's also given some water, it will take root. Once it takes root, there's a sprout. When the sprout comes up, the sprout starts reaching for the sun. The sun starts feeding it. So now the rain, the dirt, and the sun are feeding the seed, which grows to be a tree. Now let's put some random stuff in there. Big rocks, storms of hail. The tree might not make it there. I want to give you an example. This tree has survived many storms. Scooter crew. Whoop, whoop. Scooter crew. The house over there. There used to be a tree over there. See the blue tarp? It's not a tree there anymore. So there are also major storms that can wipe out a large object. Whether it was a seedling like that, because that's all those are actually. Those are just tiny trees. I hadn't cut back the garden area yet. See? A lot of that. It's just really some little baby trees that haven't been trimmed back. Not random at all. That's nature. Nature allows trees to develop seeds. Some of it goes into fruits and berries. The birds and the squirrels eat them, transfer them with their excrement or dig holes and bury them that way. No part of that process is random. It's all been set up in balance. When it comes to our activities in life, there is a system, there is a balance that was already put in place. And a lot of us are having trouble because the system that we've been told to use is not balanced. And it will make you feel out of place as it is, just trying to be in it. And then if you actually tried to operate as if you were trying to do the commands of Yahweh Elohim, if you wanted to walk with the wisdom of Ravak HaKodesh, if you wanted to live by the example of Yahashua HaMashiach, the first thing you're going to realize is that everything that you see from that unbalanced system is senseless to the point where you don't want any parts of it, to the point where you will stay away from it, to the point where when you get inside of it, everyone who is in that unbalanced system will look at you like you are the odd person out, because you are. We are a peculiar people. We're being told that pretty much everybody has some sort of attention deficit. Pretty much everybody is on the spectrum of autism. I traveled 800 miles just to find out that, yeah, I probably have autism and attention deficit and everything else too. And no, I wasn't, what's the word, diagnosed by a doctor or a psychiatrist. No, it was another individual with ADD who could tell, no, I don't start a conversation on a subject and keep that same subject going for 20 or 30 minutes before I change. If you have a conversation with me, it's a roller coaster because I'm going to pull from a lot of different directions while we're going in the same general direction. Shalom, my Barak Akati Mavis. It's very Tabah to see you. Very Tabah. You ever been on a road trip and you're traveling 400 miles and pretty much you're going a straight line? You know, there's some curves and all that kind of stuff, but you got to get from point A to point B. You have to travel 400 miles. Now, along the way, you don't really want a quiet ride for 400 miles. You know, speed limit is around 70. I might be known to do 90 every now and then. Speeding. Even if you did 100 miles an hour, it's still a 4-hour trip. And I don't know too many people who like to sit in quiet around other people for 4 hours straight. So you're on this road trip and we're looking at 4 to maybe 6 hours. We'll give it 6 hours. Because if you're doing 60 to 55, right, that takes about 5 hours. So here we go. You're on this trip. Y'all are going from point A to point B. Are you really going to just sit there and look ahead and talk about when we get to point B, when we get to point B looks like this. Last time I was at point B, it smelled like that. And we went over here and we went over there and we did this, we did that. I wonder if the neighbor cut the grass. You really going to spend 4 to 6 hours doing that? Because you see, while you're doing your 400-mile trip, there's all kinds of exits along the way, landmarks, other people traveling. You're going to pass them, they're going to pass you. They're going in the opposite direction. So you got all the passersby. Random. I like that vehicle. I like the color. I like that license plate. I wonder what part of the state that they're from. Wow, that license plate is from 800 miles away. Wonder where they're going. Wonder where they've been. I wonder if their destination is actually where they're moving to. I wonder if they just had those license plates for too long and that's not even where they're from right now. See, now we're not talking about point B. Now we're in the moment. And if you're driving 400 miles, you're probably going to stop for some gas. Now, you might plan it out and you might know, okay, well, I get X amount of gas to the gallon. So we're going to stop at exit 142 to get gas. I know the price there. Maybe. Because even if you look that up on your Google and everything else, and it'll tell you what the price is, it might be subject to change by the time you get there. Might not be the same cashier when you get there. Random activities. Even amongst your purposeful activities, there are going to be some random exchanges. So you're trying to stay with your purpose, stay with the blueprints, so that you can still get to point B from point A. And you're seeing these exits and these landmarks that would be great to see if you were actually willing to have the time and the allocation for all of that. But no, on this trip, we are having to go from point A to point B. Rest stops. Where's the rest areas? Back in the day before Google search, they did have state maps. And you could look at the state map, check the highways, and you'd find where the rest areas were. I miss maps. Now it still does tell you through Google search and all that kind of stuff. So once again, you can plan for certain scheduled stops. However, we made it about 150 miles on this trip, and people are starting to get hungry. So now we're looking for signs. There was a comedian that once cracked a joke. How many of y'all remember those blue highway signs? Exit 142. Gas exit 142. Gas food exit. Next half mile 142. Gas food lodging exit. Next mile, next 1/4 mile. Exit 142. Now, me being the literal person that I am, I immediately laughed when the comedian was saying that routine. And it's one of the running jokes with my family while we're riding along. When somebody says they're hungry, uh, gas exit. You get rid of some of that gas, you'll be all right. Next one up. Well, you know we're on the road. Gas food exit. You know, we all get to be 6 or 8 years old sometimes, just for the sake of it. Traveling is for the adventure. It's not always the finish line. It's the adventure on the way there. Those are the memories that take you back to, well, the last time we went to point B, y'all remember we were talking about so and so when we got around this? Yeah, ha ha ha. Memories, bonds. Those bonds stay in place. Those memories are what draw us together in the human experience. Those memories are also a will and a sign of love. How's that? Until the 12 disciples were close, because 12 grown men would sit in a Honda and be in one accord. Hondas are small. 12 grown men in a Honda. What's that got to do with love? You ever been on a 4 to 6 hour road trip and the same person was sitting over to the side? And you're going to bond and have memories whether you talk to each other or not. Doesn't have to be your family member. I've spent a lot of traveling riding around on buses. Within the last 8 to 10 years, for all the traveling that I've done, I got enough stories where if I sat down, I could do a 45-minute short film about the human design and just talking about traveling. And I'm talking about the design of the personality, of the psyche, not the physical build, the other part of human design. When people get out and about and self-accountability becomes a factor in the way that people act. I had a great conversation with my sister earlier today. And yeah, that it took me back to that that phrase right there. I really could tell you a lot of stories about what I've seen traveling with people, sitting next to them, or they're in front of me. We can share on that on another day. Hey, we've gone an hour. So that means it's around 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know if I was even going to survive this long. Because, yeah, I came on. I'm fired up. I do have a point to convey that I wanted to talk about. We're talking about innovation. We're talking about a curator. Uh, for example, there was a company called Famous Amos Cookies. I was introduced to Famous Amos when I was 16. My first actual paid check gig. I was working through the summer. At lunchtime, I could go to the vending machine and get some Famous Amos cookies, or during my break, whenever. Get 2 breaks and a lunchtime, I'm probably going to be eating cookies all 3 times of the day. Right? So I did that for a couple of years because I was still in high school. And once I graduated out of high school, I was given full-time employment with the same company. By the time I came back for full-time employment, I was told that the Famous Amos cookie company had been bought, and these new people had the recipe, and Famous Amos wasn't going to be allowed to get profits from all of the work that he had put in. Well, that just made my heart fall to the floor. Now, what are we going to do? Because I don't particularly like Chips Ahoy. They're all right, but they're overpriced to me. It's not worth what you would have to pay. And I can go through the list of certain cookies because I do like cookies. I had 2 stuffed animals when I was little. I had a Winnie the Pooh bear and I had a Cookie Monster. You get the idea. My Cookie Monster was just like the one on TV. I mush his face like he was eating cookies, but they just fall out. I noticed that when I was little watching Sesame Street. Nom 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 nom. Cookie Monster ain't ate one cookie. So anyhow, what are we gonna do? Famous Amos is not gonna even be able to get the credit that's his. Well, back then they didn't have social media. They had Geraldo Rivera does a report about how this person who came up in the African American community and self-starter, and now he's not going to be able to keep on his legacy. Oh, my heart was broken. What can we do to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore? Because at a young age, I was already hearing about we invented the ice cream machine. We are the ones who designed the traffic light and the signal system. We did this, we did that. We're the ones that designed the cotton because we got tired of picking cotton and separating it. We did this, we did that. We don't got no credit. Got tired of hearing that. What can we do to make sure that we own whatever is ours? Poor man copyright. Write up something, mail it, don't open it. Because I found out that does not work. Music or anything. It has to be registered some kind of way. It has to be proof of publishing. You can write an email to someone about your idea. You could do a 7-section proposal, or you could just brainstorm. The second you hit send, now it has been copyright protected because it's saying that it's coming from a device that you are using, used a program to produce a text document, and you sent it to someone else for them to receive and to read. That is a copy right? Because you sent a copy of your idea to someone else and you have a right to share it because you own it. That's the simple terms. However, even with that, you can't fight someone in court because then you're going to have to bring out, okay, well, when I sent it, I used this IP address. This is the machine that I used. Here's the save file and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you can do that. You can fight in court. And okay, there is a free way to copyright what you own. And when you register your copyright, you are copyrighting your intellectual property, any images, any audio, or any spelling derivative close to your name and product. All of that is written out in the whole details. Why? I know a place, ain't nobody crying. Y'all remember the story I told you about as far as what I thought the whole song was? Lined to the races. People were lining up to go watch the races. I already knew Camptown Ladies sing this song, do da, do da. But no, I wasn't even thinking about horse races or dog tracks or anything like that because I had heard enough about racial tension. And so to me, I'm actually hearing, okay, people are lining up to join the racial events. When I was young, I wasn't thinking about making music because I was surrounded by it. I didn't start thinking about making music till I was about 12. I didn't learn how to read music until I was about 14. Learned to play the trumpet in junior high school, 7th grade. Oh, I was surrounded by music. I wasn't thinking about making it because I was absorbing it. I can communicate with people through music. I can sing a song that's a line that will tell you everything that I'm feeling. And you will know because you'll feel it too. Because you know the song. Same goes with chanting a psalm. You start off chant psalm and everybody's going to join in. And the next thing you know, the whole assembly is of one accord in a great mood. And we all love each other. Because what is love? Love is seeing a need in someone else and immediately going and addressing that need to where that other person has a better quality of life. That's love. Sometimes that just means I'm here with you. I'm here to laugh with you. I'm here to cry with you. I'm here to explore with you. I love you. Where I'm from, if you say Yahava Ahava, everybody gonna say, oh yeah, our Father is love. Ahava Ahava. Love is love. That's what makes complete compassion. If Yahava Elohim is love, we're also adding in not just creation and the sustenance and the protection from our Father, we're also looking at the wisdom that guides us from Ravak HaKadosh, provided by our Father, and the guidance and the standards that are given to us from Yahashua HaMashiach, given to us by Yahweh. That is how Yahweh Ahava is complete compassion, moving and manifesting in those ways. And all we can do is emulate it. We are vessels. We want to be able to move as instruments for Yahweh Elohim. Move the same way that Ravak HaKadosh moves. Speak, think, and feel the same way that Yahashua HaMashiach was doing when he walked among us. Then we're walking with purpose. None of that is random. Even creation is not random. We know this just through Barashayat. And it takes our Kahalet to say the whole verse, because I don't know the whole verse yet. I do know that part, and I know it means more than in beginning. I know that it's telling exactly from the right family. All the way to fulfilling the mission. And then the reminder that we are supposed to walk that way too. So simple. In my conversation with my sister earlier today, I made a statement. Most people are conditioned to either acquiesce or rebel, not realizing that there are other choices, other options. Acquiescence is what we are taught as we are little, and that's the remnants of the so-called Willie Lynch syndrome. But we're going to upgrade that phrase, and we're going to call it smooth brain syndrome. Acquiescence is smooth brain syndrome. Oh, I'm going to be quiet about it, and eventually it'll pass. It's just a storm. It'll pass. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I will get out and walk on water with my Messiah before I just sit there and let the storm pass. Now, if my Messiah says lay down and go to sleep and let the storm pass, I sure will. But if my Messiah is out there in the middle of that storm, I'm going to be out there too. And I've been told what I'm supposed to do and where my Messiah goes. Let's see here. You'll find me amongst the poor, the widowed, the orphans, those who are in prison, those who were told they're poor in spirit. That's where I was told to go and do my missions. And when I get there, anytime I find a half truth or a whole lie, because either way it's a lie, I'm going to expose it. And then my duty is to remove it. Because those lies, those half truths, the whole lies, the lie, that's the elephant in the room. And I've been charged to remove the elephant from the room anytime I walk into one, even if I happen to be the elephant in the room. Then I'm trying to explore what makes me the elephant in the room. And yes, I've removed myself from rooms because they did not want to accept what I was doing and how I was representing. Now, was I always righteous? No. There were times where I was doing things that were out of character or out of the bounds of the standards. There were times where I wanted to just be off in a corner to myself and didn't want nobody bothering me because I'd already had my day. And it might have been just midday. There's still a whole nother 8 hours before sun goes down. Nope, I've had my day. Please leave me alone. However, I was the elephant in the room. It might be early day. It might be 8, 10 o'clock. However, they didn't know that I'd been up since 3. They didn't know that I hadn't even slept. And even though it might be 8 or 10 o'clock to them, I've been up for 32 hours. I've been up for 48 hours. I've been up for 52 hours. And not because I'm on some chemical. I'm an insomniac. I've been an insomniac since I was about 10 or 12 years old. I had a prayer when I was 6, asking for the faculties to be able to do things to help my family. And I wasn't talking about my mama and my daddy and my grandma and my granddaddy. No, my family. Because I knew at 6 years old how big family really is. My granddaddy had 13 children. I was born the firstborn of his baby. And it wasn't even about that. Family is I've shared a roof with you. We've had a couple of meals together. We've shared some laughs. We've shared some cries. We've shared some trials and tribulations and tests and passed them. You are now family. I don't have a lot of friends. People don't get to go through the three C's with me. You're an acquaintance. You might be a friend for a couple of minutes, and then you will become family if you're trustworthy. Otherwise, you're going to stay over there as an acquaintance. Part-time people have very little parts in my life. My life. Feel like I'm teasing my mom right now. Bright white light and wash my hands. My mom, super educated. My mom took classes on speech pathology. She knows how to speak with correct diction and enunciate and so forth. She knows the palate at the top of your root, how you have to touch that with the tip of your tongue or the back of your teeth to pronounce certain things and so on. Move your lips a certain way. We say ma before we say dad because it's so easy. She speaks one way with a certain group, and then she speaks another way with another group. How does the song go? Get it from my mom. My brother, he teases me sometimes because we'll be out in public, run up on some Latinos. I'm talking to him. How do you say da 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 da? And these, that, malo, bueno. Looks at me after we walk away. Man, why you be talking like that? What you talking about? Your accent different. Yeah, because I'm speaking in their language and they pronounce things a certain way. So once I get into the swing of that, I'm gonna say everything that way, even if it's the broken English. I'm gonna say it that way because that's how they speak too. That's actually, so we're matching tones. It's not being disrespectful. And then there's the fact that yeah, I do mimic people's voices. It's one of my traits and talents. And so sometimes he's wondering if I'm, trying to be dismissive or disrespectful. And I had to let him know, no, that's not the case at all. It, it feels better to a person in another culture if you approach them with that amount of enthusiasm to where you know the words and then you can also say it with the same stresses that they use. It means that you've taken the time to relate, to empathize, instead of ¿qué pasó, hombre? No. ¿Qué pasó, hombre? ¿Qué tal, mi carnal? You know? ¿Qué tal, mi carnal? What's up, my brother? My blood brother. Get on the way. What's up? What's happening? That's how I learned to speak because the people who I was around. I learned Spanish in high school. What was it? Ninth and 10th grade. And I was walking around sounding like I had learned Spanish in school until I actually started spending time around Latinos and listening to them and speaking with them. And my accent changed to accommodate. As a matter of fact, I was such a great student in my 10th grade year that the instructor wanted to take me and another student down to South America for us to study over the summer. Since I didn't get a chance to partake in that opportunity, I just went and found all the Latino people that I could. you know, because I'm hard headed. I've been told I'm hard headed. What can I say? I am a diamond. I'm supposed to be hard headed. We made it to the hour and 25-minute mark. Get away from me, mosquito. Cannot stand mosquitoes. There we go. Hour and a half, eh? So let's put the reminder out there. We get together 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time daily, except for on Shabbat. For most people, that would be on Saturday. We don't get together on Saturday to talk entrepreneurship because we are too busy listening in to all the other messages from the assembly. So we take 5 days throughout the week to talk about one specific special interest group per day. And then on Sundays, we do a Q&A. Since we're finishing up early, if there are any questions about anything that we didn't even cover right now, because, yeah, I mean, I could go a little bit into Web3 and discussing DSO and Diamond App, uh, Focus, and give you a little short something about that. Because that's also part of innovations. That's what we're actually building towards. And I need to share something with you all. Keep this in mind because this is going to be the next level. I made that announcement Sunday. Said it's time for the next level. For every special interest group, there's 10 of them. For every special interest group, I'm going to make sure that there's a creator coin through the social network. Now, even though there's going to be a coin that I make, I'm going to put it up to you to make your own coin. And I'm not telling you to go out and just dive into it. I'm making coins so that we can all go through the process and I can show you how to sign up and register your own coin. You will have one because it broke my heart when I found out. Famous Amos lost everything. No stocks, no nothing. Sold his name. All he got was a check cut. Possible annuities paid out for the rest of his life. But no, the legacy was gone. That hurt my heart. So, considering I know someone who makes some very tasty cookies, I want to do something about it. So, for every special interest group that I know about that I'm focused on, I'm going to start making some coins. And when I do, I'm actually going to post them out there to let you know they are there. They will have their own profile. And all you got to do is contact me. I will give you your pass key for you to get in. The thing is, I want you to start your own because I want you to have your own secured coin that I can't access. The coin that I start is just going to be the coin that connects SOC. You with your own personal coin can connect with that coin along with SOC. What I'm doing is showing you that you don't have to have a storefront. Your coin is going to be your storefront. You get to be you, do whatever you want to do. But there's going to be this coin sitting there because each storefront should also be responsible for a storage house. So these coins are going to be set in place for investments and legacy building. So that whenever we do get together at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and we start talking about entrepreneurship, we can all be on the same page. Because also there's this. There's going to come a time where even though we're broadcasting on Zoom, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and all of that, we need to be coming from our own network. Even Desocial World is great because it's getting away from decentralized banking, or it's getting into decentralized banking. That's great. We want to do that. However, what we're really trying to do is make our own network. Show me the network of Yahweh Elohim. know what? I told a man the story of the network of Yahweh Elohim because he had to go through an elevator story with me. That was just a couple days ago. And then, if I remember correctly, we went through that same elevator story because I had to review what exactly is the stop program. You see, that's the place where we can start finding our positions. The stop program is a safe place. You write your resume. You fire these people who are hiring you for jobs and toil. And then you hire yourself to be of service in Yahweh's community. Then I will promote you. Then I will find all of your materials and make sure that we have it on the network so that we can broadcast to the people without depending on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Till we meet next time, I ask you, which website have you decided to use for your personal domain? Wix, Squaresoft, WordPress. Which site have you decided to use? And remember, you don't have to pay for it immediately. You can start with a free site just so you can get your thing started. And then you can pay for the option of having your domain. But when you go in for that free site and you set it up, you have a domain then. My domain is 3PROJH of highest heights studio.wordpress.blog. I can pay to get the WordPress taken out, so it just says 3PROJH of highest heights studio.blog. And it does, because I paid the lowest payment, because I'm preparing to get ready to start embedding different streaming sites onto my web pages and to upgrade. But for right now, with a free site, I can still go on there and post my blogs. I can still set up a home page, a landing page where people can see what it is that I do. You can do that for free. So everybody who's listening now, for those who are listening later, that is my question. Have you decided on your domain site? Have you decided on a website? It's that time. You can't depend on Facebook. You can't depend on Instagram. You can't depend on TikTok. When you go to your house, is there a Facebook sign over your front door? Think about it. Selah. Domain of Facebook. Is that what it says? Domain of TikTok? Because that's what you're doing. If you spend all your time on one platform and you're jumping out communicating that way, that's your home. We can do better than that. TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those need to be 400 miles away from your website to where all you got to do is point and click and send your stuff there. It needs to be 400 miles away from your home. Because when you are at home and you're posting up your stuff, there's no troll on your domain page, on your website page. There's no troll there. The trolls come when you get into the public domains, into the public platforms, I'm sorry. When you go on YouTube and you decide you want to go live, or if you decide you want to post up a video of something that you were doing, somebody wants to come into the comment section and talk crazy to you. Because you don't have any control there. Does it say YouTube over your door at home? So if you're coming from your own domain, from your own address, then you can secure it as a safe place. We are building our own network in the name of Yahweh Elohim. There's reality, there's real estate, there's virtual reality, and there's some real estate. The better you are registered and the more that you have out here in your portfolio, the more better off you will be as you step away from the corrupt system, because you'll actually have something in your portfolio that you can share with the community. Active, vision, purpose, value, planned activities. What's all that got to do with Web3 and getting your coin going and all that kind of stuff? All right, I bring this one up all the time. You want to do a fundraiser. You go to GoFundMe. GoFundMe wants to take a percentage of what it is that you raise. If you have your own coin and you want to generate any kind of money, the only percentage you're going to give out will be to those who have actually contributed to the fundraiser. That incentive is equity, not borrowing this trust box over here so that I can take on an activity that's going to help the community. Guess what? Whoever runs GoFundMe is getting rich off of all kinds of different activities. How about we run activities that are in the name of Yahweh, strictly by us and for us? See, that's where my brain was when I was 6, and I was asking, how can I help my family? Can you give me the strength and the knowledge and the warehouse and the wherewithal to do so? So by the time I was 12 and the blueprints started coming to me, I'm filling in blanks. When I was 12, I knew where to place people. I just couldn't because I was 12. Nobody listens to a 12-year-old. By the time I was 30, yeah, people were telling me I was wise. By the time I was 35, I had shots of silver hair. That's when I was 35. It's been 15 years. Guess what I do on a daily basis? Filling in the blanks and steadily scribbling up more blueprints because they're always coming. I was sitting here today to tell you that your coin can have the same value as these companies that you are seeing on stock markets. The gentleman I was talking to over the weekend when he hosted a party, he's an investor. That's how he sees things. He's an investor, he's a consumer. And his idea is, even if I consume, if I buy something and I know that it has value, I can resell it because I want to go buy something else. He's got a consumer mindset. What can I invest in that I know is going to grow because they're giving a product? What can I pay into that's going to help me grow? What can I buy? What can I buy that will cause me to have wealth? Well, I'm a producer. What can I make that is of value that someone else wants to purchase? I'm a producer. Here's my coin. If you want me to do something that's of value to you, I can meet you on however you want to exchange. If you want to use fiat cash, Sure, I happen to live in a certain zone and nation, so if you don't have that particular currency, now I have to go to a bank in order to get that currency to where I can use it. So that's the cash method. And it doesn't matter if you're using debit, credit, whatever. It's going to be whatever that nation, whatever those banks are, that's what you have to use unless you trade it out. Okay, I have a coin. Do you have a coin? Do you have an e-wallet? You have an e-wallet? Okay. I charge so and so for my services. Well, I can give you that equivalent amount. Thing is, I live in India. Oh yeah, I think they use the dinar or something like that, or rubles. We'll figure it out, and I will take that exchange. Here's your product. No difficulties. No foreign exchange fees and all that kind of thing. They have a coin, I have a coin. They have an e-wallet, I have an e-wallet. We can exchange in that coin, and then I can change it out however I use or however I want. Or I might decide to use the amount that they sent to me to turn around and order something from India. And now I don't have to change up my fiat in order to make that happen. I have a coin. Got a PayPal. PayPal links up. So if I have a product, someone wants to order it from me, they don't even have to talk to me. They can pay me from whatever country and currency they choose. Got a Cash App. It holds Bitcoin. You've got a Cash App? You've got Bitcoin? You send me X amount, it's the same thing. Matter of fact, that's going to come to me more than likely quicker than the other way because I have a business account. So I don't just send money back and forth. I have to do a couple of things. Now I can just make exchanges, buy or pay somebody because my account still works that way. However, I've got a few other things that I can do, like send you a ledger, send you a printout. These are the services. These are the ones that are listed. These are the ones you are being charged for. Here's the subtotal and the tax. These are the things that you can do outside of the options that they've told you that you have. Same things that you have in your wallet, your pocket, your purse that you are using 400 miles away from home, you can be using to improve your home. I think I've chewed on the subject enough. Tomorrow, I think we should go into some information about what was it? Market caps. Let's talk about market caps tomorrow. Inshallah, God willing, we'll talk about market caps. I'm not near my notebook, so I can't tell you who the specific special interest group will be. You know, it's on the schedules. By the way, if you haven't already, go back and find any one of the elephant in the room pictures that I have posted. Click like. Tell me which one you like. Tell me about some elephants in the room that you'd like to see. Drop a comment, like and subscribe. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff they tell you to do when you become a content creator and you start broadcasting live. Get the audience to interact with you. So if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe now. No. Wait until it's all done. No. Wait till it's all done. Go ahead and subscribe now. Oh. And if you like this, share it with a friend. Why? Because I might not know your friend. Your friend might not know me. Like, and share. Hashtag like. Hashtag like and share. Hashtag like and share a like. Are you with me? Hashtag kindness is contagious. I pray everyone is having a great day. It's a beautiful day where I am. Sister, you were asking me earlier. It wasn't raining when you were asking me. Rain had brought in a cold front. It's been kind of like this all day. Overcast, partly cloudy. There goes some over that way. Police. He probably thought I was waving at him. But anyway, yeah. It has warmed up to 70 degrees. It started out 65, but it's been a great day. Spent a couple of seconds out on the deck before I came on because I wanted to run a test, make sure that we would be able to line up and go live again. And yes, I am definitely celebrating. Hazan Yahasharaya. Rejoice. Revelations. Rejoice, because here's another day that we've been able to get the message out there. We're trying to get righteousness and the divine path heard and known all around this world. That is our mission. And each of us has a talent that can help that be done. Shalom Barakakati. I'm going to recite a surah from the Quran. I'm going to be saying it in English. Pardon me. You know that section between your thumb and your pointer finger? That little web? It's itching! Right across the knuckle to the top of the back of my hand, to the pointer finger from there to the knuckle of my thumb. Beating me up. Bavakasha. I'm always more than happy to be here and being of service. Okay, so Wal Asher, by time. Basmala, in the name of our Father. By time, surely mankind is at a loss, except for those who do tabah deeds amongst each other with patience and consistency. Be sabir. Allahu Akbar. Ameen. Yes. Mankind is at a loss except for those who do constitutional deeds amongst each other with patience and consistency. Be sabir means patience and consistency. Be sabir, basabir. Always remember, Yahava, Ahava, Yahava is love, Ahava, Ahava. Love is love. That's complete compassion. Ametaba, Ametwofo. That is compassion in both Chinese and Japanese. Shalom Barak. Assalamu alaikum. Our Father's peace be with you. Father's peace be with you, your families, and your circles. Until next time, much love and respect.